Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2024 Honda CRV, we're going to be showing you how to install the Curt custom fit vehicle wiring harness. Before we do that though, let's just take a minute, check it out, and make sure it's going to work for you. So when it comes to the CRV, they're really popular SUVs, really good vehicles, and people use them to do a lot of different things, which does include pulling some trailers around. And so if that's what you plan on doing, you're going to need a way to power up the lights on that trailer, not only for safety reasons, but it's required by law as well. So want to abide by that, and that's where a kit like this is going to come into play. So one of the cool things with this setup is you can actually store it inside of your vehicle if you want to, kind of out of the elements and out of sight, which is what I like. But you can route this, to the outside, keep it stored next to your hitch if you'd prefer that, which talk about that a little bit more during the installation. But here's where ours is located, and if you do it, keep it on the inside, and when you're ready to use it, what you're going to do is just drape your wiring over your threshold here, and you can close a hatch on it. You just want to avoid our latch mechanism, and you can see too, you got more than enough length there, so won't run into any issues as far as that goes. But yeah, when you go to close a hatch, it might seem kind of odd doing that, but you're not going to hurt the wiring or your vehicle. It's designed to be able to handle that type of thing. And now we're going to have that 4-way flat trailer connector. That way we can plug our trailer in and get all the signals. And this is probably one of the most common types of trailer connectors, especially for the types of trailers that the CRV is likely to be pulling around. So you're going to get your turn signals, your brake lights, and your tail lights. So you have all of your bases covered there. This kit is going to work with the hybrid models of CRVs like we have here today, as well as the regular gasoline versions. And it is set up to be used on vehicles that have all-wheel drive, like ours does. If you happen to have front-wheel drive, there's another kit available that you can check into. Aside from that though, a pretty nice kit. It utilizes a factory connector plug back here, and so that makes the installation pretty straightforward. Something that a lot of people run into is they get it plugged in and everything, and then the connector doesn't have power here. And what will happen, some vehicles from the factory are set up this way. You might not have a fuse installed underneath the dash on your driver's side. And we'll show you how to check that. And if you need one, there's a couple things you can do. We carry a kit here that you can pick up, or underneath the hood in that fuse box, there's usually a spare that you could take and borrow. So really up to you and your decision, but with that in mind, why don't we go ahead and get started on it now. To begin your installation, you're going to be here at the back of your CRV, and we need to remove our floor coverings. And so it definitely helps as well if you fold your back seats forward, gives you a little more room. And depending on your submodel, yours might be set up a little bit different. We have a hybrid, and so this floor covering is kind of locked down, and I could be mistaken, but I believe the regular gas ones just essentially lift up, but something to keep in mind here. But on our hybrid and on the gas, you're gonna have to remove this threshold, and what I'm going to do is take this trim tool and just kind of work it underneath here, work my way down, and our floor covering is actually connected into here, and so this will allow us, once this is free, to lift up on it, can get the threshold out of the way, and then we can slide our floor covering out of position as well. The factory connector plug we're looking for should be located behind this panel here on the driver's side. So I'm going to take a few things apart here. We have this piece that just unsnaps, and we have this door as well. Just pop that out of place. For this side panel now, I'm going to take my trim tool and just work in behind it. And this just has some push pins in there. It's just kind of snapped in place. So we'll work our way down. and start to pull it back. Really, you only need to go to about this point. You can reach in there, but to make things easier to see, if I can, without too much more work, get the panel back a little bit more, that'll be ideal. You can have a better look behind it there. Behind that panel, this is the factory connector plug that we're looking for, and that's what our trailer wiring is going to plug into. We'll grab our trailer wiring, and the end of it's going to have the style of connector that matches up with the factory one here. We're just going to plug that right on it. The wiring kit is going to come included, have a built-in fuse holder and an included fuse. So at this point, we'll take that, place it into our trailer wiring. Underneath the driver's side dashboard, this is the fuse block that we're looking for. And you may or may not have a fuse installed from the factory. It kind of just depends. In our case, we did not. And so the one we're looking for, it's fuse slot number 17. It's labeled trailer, and it's going to be a 20 amp fuse. So from the top left of the fuse block, if you're looking right at it, it'll be 2 down and 3 over. And I put a couple black dots on that fuse there just to help you identify it. So if you do not have a fuse there, you'll have to put a 20 amp fuse in. A lot of times, if you don't have one at the house, a lot of times there's some spares located in the fuse block underneath the hood. So you can always check that and get one installed there. Before we go any further, I want to check our wiring to make sure that it's working properly. So I like to use a small tester as opposed to plugging into our trailer. Because if your trailer has any issues, it might mislead you into thinking it's something you did on the vehicle side. But that in mind, we'll try our left turn signal, our right turn signal. We'll hit our brakes and turn on our taillights. Now that we verified it works, I secured our converter box, and what I did, there's just an opening here. I pushed it all the way up through here, and then this strap that's using, that Honda uses to secure this air pump, I just put this right behind there and stays put. So I think I'm gonna go with that. This is pretty convenient there and won't have to drill or do anything along those lines. If you want to put it in a different spot, they do give you some sticky tape, and you can secure it to the back of a panel or behind this panel or whatever you want to do. And that's going to hold true as well. If your CRV doesn't come with this little pocket here, you'll just have to find a spot where you can zip tie this to bundle the wire, use that sticky tape. But with that said, what I'm going to do here, we'll take our panel again, and where it's kind of cut out there, I'm just going to do one of those deals and keep our wiring stored right here in this little pocket. Now you can store it on the inside of your vehicle, that's perfectly fine. If you would rather have it down by your hitch on the outside, that's fine as well. A lot of times there will be a grommet that you can use. So for example, it looks like on our particular vehicle, might have a couple there, but always check what's underneath of it, and if you can even put the wiring through it. If you can, you'll have to create a hole, put the wire through, seal it all back up. And if you decide to do that, make sure to do your best when you're routing the wire to avoid any hot or moving parts. With that set up, we'll take our floor covering and our threshold piece now, and with it set up like this, I like to kind of join them two together. Slide it in place. And essentially, this is just going to get worked back into position. The opposite way that we removed it here. So once all that is done, we can close up our hatch and we'll be all good to go. So that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt custom fit vehicle wiring harness on our 2024 Honda CRV.